Well, Mr. Gove, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. And let me talk about a previous interview you did with Sky News on this issue of a deposit return scheme. It was back in July last year. You said you wanted to see one as soon as possible. Now, can I ask you, given that we're in March the next year, when, or indeed if, you think a scheme will start in England?
Yes, we're going to go ahead with a consultation, and we want to make sure that we got this scheme up and running absolutely as soon as possible. We've been talking to industry in order to make sure that we listen to all those who've expressed concerns in the past, and we know now that while there are some people who we need to work with in order to make sure that it works, that it will be full steam ahead.
Yeah, but when? Any indication? What are your thoughts, given the intervening period between July and March? What are your thoughts about when one might be operational?
Well, I think the most important thing is to make sure that this consultation period gets everyone who has an interest in making
Well, how
sure
long
that
is
we
that
deliver
going to be?
I think it'll be a few months' time. We want to make sure that we get the widest range of views reflected. The key thing about a deposit return scheme is that it has the potential to be a massive alteration in the way in which we recycle. But it's only one part of a broader set of things that we wanted to do. We've been inspired, of course, by Sky's Ocean Rescue campaign and also by the work of so many people in civil society who want to ensure not just that plastic bottles, but also that all of the plastic waste that we generate is effectively recycled. And a deposit return scheme could be a game changer. But I have to stress, important as it is, it's only one part of a broader network of things that we need to do.
But let's just talk about the deposit return scheme and how one operates, where we've seen in other countries. A lot of them have these machines, these crushing machines in corner shops.
Yes.
Is that the way you are envisaging the one in Britain going?
That's one of the ways in which it could go, and that's one of the reasons why we're having a consultation. In order to make sure that we listen to small business, those corner shop stores that might be responsible for having some of these machinery, but also that we want to talk more broadly to local government as well, because they're responsible at the moment for so much recycling. We want to make sure that every single part of the chain can work effectively in order to ensure that we recycle as much as possible. So
there are economic considerations on this. Local authorities might lose out on the revenue from recycling, and indeed the corner shops might lose out. There's a big lot of floor space going for these machines, one imagines.
Well, it is the case in other countries that people often want to have these machines because they draw in traffic, actually, and they ensure that there is more footfall. But it is the case when we look at local government. If it's the case that we're going to have plastic bottles going into these machines rather than going into our bins and going into local authority recycling, we need to ensure that local authorities get the support that they need. That's why we're also looking at changing the way in which producers and all those who use plastic actually pay into a system which helps local government and helps central government to recycle more effectively.
Would they pay for the machines as well?
Well, one of the things we need to do is to be in a position to know whether it's the soft drink manufacturers or whether it's others. Business has to step up. Business has to make a contribution. They're the people who are using this plastic, and we need to have a scheme that doesn't just raise the revenue for recycling, but also creates an incentive for those manufacturers to move away sometimes from using what's called virgin material, i.e. plastic that hasn't itself been recycled, towards more recycled material. It's trying to make sure that you get a virtuous circle.
And are you using data from the plastic bag scheme, which has been a tremendous success in cutting down that usage, and therefore thinking about the pricing here, what deposit might be put on the bottles?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right that the plastic bag scheme has been a huge success, and as a result we've seen a more than 80% reduction in plastic bag use as a result of a simple charge being placed on all bags. If we look at other countries, whether that's Germany or Sweden, that have used deposit return schemes, they have a variable rate. Again, one of the things we want to consult on is what's the right rate in order to encourage the right level of recycling and at the same time to make it effective and efficient for industry, whether those are the soft drink companies or the corner shops that might be installing some of those deposit machines.
And just lastly, can I push you for a date when you think it might come into operation, subject to consultation? We've got all that. What about a year's time to coincide with Brexit?
I think it would be a great Brexit bonus, but I don't want it to be specifically tied. I'm sorry to be open-minded on this issue. I need to make sure that the consultation listens to everyone, because we've got to get it right. It's better to get it right and to ensure that by the time, certainly well before the next election, that people see this scheme up and running, they're confident that we've done the right thing.